actually go out there and make that happen. So it was pretty classic to be walking around the boat with half of a tiger going with only half a cowboy hat on the rest of the cruise. At least I got a good conversation piece right there when I went Italian with a few buttons down at dinner. Let's talk a little more about what people tune in on this network for, and that is sports. Best non-conference matchups. We talked about a little yesterday, but this isn't the type of year in college football where we have great ones, but we also talked about, remember, they don't know that Auburn and Oregon, that was the national title game 6 years ago, is not going to be the elite versus the elite. And we don't know if, at the time, if Florida and Miami, when they made this decision, wouldn't have found back to being elite. This game would be two 11-1 teams. Remember, it wasn't too long ago that, and it was sort of a con, it was a con when Mark Richt, but remember, they were, 10-0 turnover chains? Yeah. Crushed Notre Dame by 40 down there, wearing the swag. Everybody had forgotten Evan Shapiro or maybe gave him a call. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, boats and bros. And then the next thing you know, there you lose 4 straight. You lose to Pittsburgh, Pat Narduzzi, right there at Thanksgiving where the tryptophan's kicking in and more people are eating the leftovers and they're sitting watching football. If you're going to look bad to the regular fan, don't pick Thanksgiving to do it because that's when everybody is watching foosball. Guys, even if the tryptophan doesn't kick in, you could have just drank like 4 Red Bulls. You could have done an Edo and been like, yeah! And you know what? You're like, yeah. And what do we tell all the wives and moms and aunts? Oh, gosh. Just going to sit down. You do one of these to your belly. Oh.
Yep. Maybe
get to the couch.
Pop that top button, just kick back and just
double box. Usually Detroit Lions football game and what's coming on next. Usually it was Texas A&M back in the day, LSU Arkansas, and we're going to watch some football.
Yeah.
And then they look at you and eventually I'm like, no, I'll get those dishes. Oh, really? And it's one of those answers, like when your neighbor's moving in, like, hey, do you need help with that? And they're like, actually, and you're like, oh, gotta run. You're like, I thought it's just the kind thing to say, right? But you're like, oh, I'll take care of that. And they're like, no, I got that. I'm like, yes, all right. 7 hours of football. So if you're going to lose, don't do it on Thanksgiving because everybody's watching.
See,
your average fan.
I love how we do it in my house. We go and get like those metal catering pans that are like disposable. You throw them away after they're empty.
They're called cooking pans.
Yeah. Well, they're
the disposable. The disposable.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
We go get those. And we cook everything in those. So that way, all you want to put it up, you just pop aluminum foil over it, put it in our fridge.
Great idea.
We use paper plates because hey, we don't need to be fancy on Thanksgiving. So when we're done, boom, garbage. We're done with the dishes in time for kickoff.
I mean, that sounds perfect to me. Some people listening would be like, look, my mom's 1950 China has been 4 generations with the little salt shakers with the pilgrims
Christmas.
On it. Yeah.
There's no game on Christmas. Use it on Christmas.
Well, we've had a fun week. The Blue Wahoos continue to win. They've now won 13 of their last 16 games and getting it done in a big way. And also, the NFL Hall of Fame. Out of everybody in that class, to me, I broke it down to the best of the class, and there were some big names in there. It was not the best overall class because you didn't have the quarterback. Everybody takes the quarterback just like a team, and that's sort of the catalyst of the class. So there wasn't a quarterback. There wasn't really the star running back who get the accolades. A lot of defensive players.
So is Ed Reed the guy for you in this class?
See, that's where I want to open up the phones with the NFL. 850-972-1945 is the number. You can also text in 850-972-1945. Who did you feel from this class, the NFL Hall of Fame class, was the best overall player that you watched? I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm going to go ahead and say it's either Ed Reed or Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And because Tony Gonzalez, I think, is the best tight end of all time for a career. Rob Gronkowski is the most dominant tight end and maybe the best. He might be the most dominant non-quarterback on offense or defense. Or let's just go offense because that's not fair to Ray Lewis or Lawrence Taylor. They partied, both of them did, a little different. Gronk would wear neon and do keg stands, and Ray Lewis would, never mind. But it comes down to, I'd rather see Gronk at the club overall. I'd rather have the after party with Gronk than Ray Lewis and Lawrence Taylor, actually. Well, it depends what kind of party you want to start with Lawrence. But LT, I'm just saying, you might be in 5 places and never leave the couch. You know what I mean? Yep. Hey, but hey-o. Remember the Any Given Sunday when he chainsaws the Hummer in half right there. It's like based on they should have had a bottom caption based on something Lawrence Taylor probably did while he was with the Giants.
Oh yeah, no, that entire
based
movie
on true
was
events.
based on Miami football. That's
based on true events of LT. But it comes down to, I think Ed Reed was just incredible in the secondary.
Yeah.
But he also was playing with the best defense, arguably, of all time. You had Ray Lewis, Peter Boulware, McAllister back there in the secondary helping him out. Everywhere you looked, you had Sam Adams and Tony Saragusa in the front, Burnett. I mean, those guys, that was a dominant defense overall. So was Ed Reed great? Yes. But they also had great cornerbacks that helped. Because as a safety, if you're getting a guy that's just getting blown by every play, then it's not going to be the best time for you.
Yeah.
But Ed Reed, there's a couple guys that were just ball hawks. You knew if you threw a ball, you better watch out. During our lifetime, Ed Reed, the $1 million insured hair of Troy Polamalu. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was everywhere. He just the best with Polamalu would be like a 4th and 1.
Wasn't for him, Head and Shoulders.
That's right, $1 million. Yeah. And for that, by the way, because a lot of it's culture. If you're Samoan, or if you are raised where you want to have some dreads or anything like that, that's great. For a guy that plays, you better be here's the thing with white people. I'm just going to say this. If you're a white person and you play in the NFL and you have long hair, you better be big and nasty. You think about it. Like a Clay Thompson, think about those guys.
Clay Matthews.
Yeah. Or a big offensive lineman that's nasty like a Robert Gallery. Those are the guys that do it. Imagine us. I mean, this is funny because I'm thinking of this in my head while I'm about to say this. Imagine like a Wes Welker. Or imagine like a Danny Amendola, or imagine a Tom Brady, or imagine a Doug Flutie with long hair. It just would look hilarious, like one of these rock stars for Aerosmith out there, the drummer throwing. It just would look hilarious. Steven Garcia tried it, remember? Steven Garcia tried it, and it looked ridiculous. But to get to that point, if you are going to wear the hair, because they do make do-rags, they do make things, you are now 100%. I would teach my players to go after it. Because if you're gonna put it out there, then 100% go ahead and make that happen.
Well, I mean, how many times did we see that from Polamalu? He would be trying to make a play, or he would pick a pass off. He'd be running down the sideline. Somebody would try to grab him. They'd grab his hair. He'd still run for a 6, and his hair would just be floating in the wind behind him from where it got ripped out in the middle of the game. So, yeah, that's playing football with long hair. That is definitely a brave and a bold move.
So from this past NFL class, who do you think was the best overall player? I think it comes down to overall to me. It would come down to Ed Reed or Tony Gonzalez. I think Champ Bailey, we got a lot of Georgia fans in the area that, the respect for Champ Bailey is there. But Champ Bailey, I think, is on the list of best cornerbacks when I think Ed Reed was the best safety.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like when we talk about college football. We talk about Alabama and Clemson being at that level by themselves, and then right underneath it is Georgia. I think that's kind of the way you have it now. It's Ed Reed is like the Alabama Clemson, and then, obviously, Champ Bailey is Georgia right underneath them. But, it's close, but they're not quite at that same level. But I agree with you. I think the top two has to be Ed Reed and Tony Gonzalez. I'm going to go with Tony Gonzalez just because it didn't matter whether it was the Chiefs, the Falcons, whatever team he played for, he made an impact on the offensive side of the ball. I'm not saying Ed Reed didn't do that, but I think Ed Reed played for a lot of I think Ed Reed's defense that he was on, especially there in Baltimore, was just a phenomenal defense, not just because of him, but because of other people. But Tony Gonzalez actually went to teams where he actually made the team better because of his presence on the offensive side of the ball.
Best speech goes to Kevin Mawai. That was great.
Absolutely.
Incredible right there. That pretty much said, suck it up and be a man and do it. Not in a way where you should be verbally abused or anything, but, look, I've had a couple tough days, and everybody has days. And obviously, if you listen to this show, my emotions go whoop and like everywhere, all over the place. Used to call me Waffle House, chunk covered, smothered. Because you think about it, you don't just order just the hash browns. Doug McAllister gave me that name, but it was hash browns, and then you get the cheese, you get the jalapenos, you get the you go get the salsa, you go all. That's sort of how my brain works. The cheese.
I'm different then because I just.
It's only a Waffle House thing. I
usually get the All-Star Waffle House. I'll get the plain waffle. I'll get bacon. I'll get scrambled eggs. I will get the hash browns, but I won't get anything on them because I'll put ketchup on them. So I don't get anything put on them. But I may have to try that cheese and jalapeno next time.
Depends how you feel. It depends what time of night you've done that too. Right. Like let's not go cheese jalapenos and over.
Well, Waffle House between the hours outside of the hours of like 1 a.m. to 5 a.m.
It's true.
Yeah.
It ruins the reputation. If you go to many of those places.
Well, it's the most fun time to go, too, because you got the guys that are just like, they're like, barely hanging onto the bar stool as they're sitting there at the bar. So it's the more fun time to go.
I like the ones that are clearly like date nights or they're going to the movies before the movies there. But, they're born and raised in the South because they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care what you think. They're like, I'm here. Or those people that have been in a Cracker Barrel rocking chair for like 19 weeks. Like those people, like, come on. Let's get to a little more on what's going on right now as we get set to go for a big game right around the corner. We are 18 days away from Miami and Florida, and it is crunch time.
Arizona, Hawaii. I was going to say, yeah, I'm excited for that game. Because they play the same day, and nobody knows that. That's
a good party, right?
That's one thing that kills me is that all the talk to the Florida-Miami game, which really is not that great of a game, it's not that great of a matchup at this point in time. Now, 5-10 years ago, sure, maybe. But right now, it's not that great of a game. But everybody's talking about that game like it's the only game. There's actually another game between Arizona and Hawaii. Now, granted, we're not anywhere close to Arizona and Hawaii.
Very valid point right there.
It's being played in Honolulu.
Yeah.
But still, I think, even when you watch college football live, like on ESPN, all the talk is Florida-Miami, and they're not even mentioning Arizona-Hawaii. Like, it just doesn't exist. So,
well, is it in Hawaii?
It is.
There you go. Well, you're going to get to watch both because that game will start at like 7 a.m., right?
9:30 kickoff.
9:30 a.m.?
Yeah.
There you go. Be at halftime. Be like, look at this game on.
I believe it comes on right after Florida and Miami.
Ruin yard work, which you thought you were going to get done before the game right there. But, get right off the plane. That's the best thing. Go to Hawaii for a game. You're a college kid getting off there, bro. You get off the plane and get laid. Hey, It's just, and if you don't get that joke, then you've never been to Hawaii. And it was fun. Hawaii, man, I'll tell you what. It is, it was awesome.
Man, I tell you what, man, I went to Hawaii one time. Great Coronas and Hooters out there, I tell you what.
Never forget, it was Christmas, and George Carlin was out there. We're not going to tell any of his jokes. People in the 70s now, 80s. But we were out there, and I'll never forget because I was clearly 21, and I may or may have not had my brother's ID. And he was out there, and for the purpose of it, I went to this place called Mooseheads out there, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, I'm getting a text. This is like the flip phone text. You better get out of there. Because my normal brother at 24, 25, was trying to walk in and grab himself a drink. And apparently he had already been in the club. So I just want to put it out, and then we're done with that. Moving on here to some other things. The things we did as kids. Come on, everybody. Don't judge me for being 7. Looking at some of the things going on right now, best non-conference matchups. We've got 16 games, and when we come back, we're going to break it down in a little Top 16, Sweet 16, baby. Coming in. College football right here on the Sports Drive.
Remember those summer adventures as a kid on 2 wheels? Cutting loose with your buddies, enjoying freedom on those endless summer nights? Make new memories this summer at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Don't forget that right now, it's Harley-Davidson of Pensacola's Buy-Back event. If you purchased a bike from them in the past year, they'll give you back what you paid towards your new Harley. Discover your inner child again with the freedom that owning a Harley brings. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
Paul Feinbaum here for the Southeast leader for cranes and equipment rental, CraneWorks. The CraneWorks team in Nashville, Birmingham, and Mobile is ready to make your next construction or maintenance project a big success. Give CraneWorks a call for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project. And don't forget, RentalWorks has a full line of rental equipment for jobs both big and small, and now offering qualified operators for all equipment, including aerial and earth moving equipment. Call CraneWorks at 877-282-LIFT or visit them on the web at craneworks.com.
I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this: whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since 1955.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. Now there's more fun for everyone at IP. The beautiful Bayview Cafe is here, open 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can dine anytime and meet up with friends for wine tasting at 850 Wine and Spirits. Plus, if you love sports, IP Sportsbook is where the action is, and now taking wagers. Better up.
IP Casino Resort and Spa. It's fun for everyone.
New Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline is engineered with 4 levels of defense against gunk, wear, corrosion, and friction. It's sort of like having ninjas protect your engine. That helps keep your engine running like new. New Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. It's fuel for thought in engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline.
So at ESPN, there is a sports writer for baseball named Dan Mullen. Have you seen that, by the way?
I have not.
Okay,
no.
so he is right there in the front. Look, Dan Mullen, 20 most amazing facts written by him of the year by home runs by the Twins right there. So hey, look at that.
Coaches
looking,
Power 5 college
taking care of that.
team.
Yeah. Yep. Felipe Franks almost played for the Sox. I got to love him a little more for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and if he gets drafted by the Patriots, then he can just play both right there in the same city. Yeah.
It seems the Patriot way. If you have a Florida emblem, you might get drafted. He would. I mean, if somebody was going to work with a guy, Bill Belichick would be the prototypical, because people, you say what you want. Tom Brady is a great quarterback, but Bill Belichick and the system in place helps a ton. It is 3-step drop. He just is the perfect guy for that system. He's not the kind of guy that if he was with Cliff Kingsbury and had to run around and scramble, it's not going to work out the same.
Yeah.
He's not going to make plays like Fran Tarkenton, but there's nobody better at dropping back and hitting a perfect spiral in an open spot right there. And they just listed their home in Massachusetts. Giselle and Tom Brady, by the way. Oh. Nothing like being a 6-time champion in the GOAT to have your wife make more money than you, which is fine. I mean, if you do a watch commercial for a cool meal, but your wife still can do other commercials that more people will engage in. They will engage in those commercials a little bit more than yours. I'm sorry, Tom. And just saying. I maybe have seen her commercial. Maybe. I don't know at all. I've
seen the special she does on CBS.
Yes, I have too. I love that my wife watches that, and I'm like, oh, this is great stuff right here. Oh, look at that fashion model. What name of that company?
And then she looks at you and goes, why are you watching this? Oh, she's married to Tom Brady, and I'm sure
clearly,
probably one of them's dating another football player.
Because I just love the ambiance of the crowd, folks. $39.5 million if you want the house. Just a cool $39.5 million home. I have been in Vegas. I was in a $21 million home.
Yeah.
And it was on different ledges of a canyon, and it had an elevator that went into a playroom where this guy owned trains. I thought I was going to be in a Hostel movie, like taped with my mouth shut and killed. It was way too cool, like crazy. It's like, let me take you down this elevator chute. And like, bum, 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 bum. I'm like, a couple cocktails kicked in. I was at a party, so I was like, all right, cool, let's do this. And I'm like, where am I heading right now? I'm heading down a canyon in Vegas with somebody I've never met and 2 suspect guys out there because he had a bunch of security at this big galley he had. And we'll go down there. It's like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's just a bunch of trains. So maybe I should have been scared anyway.
Yeah.
That didn't be like, oh, it's just a huge train room. Everything's cool. No, it got a little creepy from there, but it was actually a lot of fun. And I got to play with life-size Atomic the Tank Train. So
Teddy
it was pretty
Perkins
cool.
comes out of the corner. For anybody that watches Atlanta, they know who that is, and they're going, oh, my God.
What's going on with the NFL and guaranteed money? That's going to be one of the keys, too. Zeke won't play without a deal. And I don't think the conversation with Jerry Jones about, look, we can win a title without Ezekiel Elliott, I think that needs to be put into, look, we're going to try to win a title with or without Zeke.
Yeah.
But you can't win a title with him, because you haven't won a title with him or without. First off, even Joe Flacco. Don't you love it when an Eli Manning? Imagine you got Archie Manning and Peyton Manning sitting there at dinner. And Eli is like, hey, guys, how many rings y'all have? And Peyton's like, well, I got that last one. Thank you, Von Miller. He's still getting those Christmas cards. I got 2. Archie be like, no, my team stunk, but it's all right. One of the best college quarterbacks when he was at Ole Miss. And then Eli's like, 2 right here, baby. Like, Eli's got as many as the whole rest of the family, which are legends. And Eli is really, when it comes to Hall of Fame discussion, I saw something on Pro Football Focus. And if you really want to get into the numbers, ESPN does a great job, but ESPN covers across the board. I'm not saying get away from us on radio. I'm talking about if you want to look something up online,
right.
Pro Football Focus, you might have to pay a little extra. Yeah, they're not cheap. It's like anything. So those water bottles that are shaped cool with like some glacier thing in them, and they're some type of fruit. You're hoping it's fruit at the bottom, and you're like, and all of a sudden they sell for like $10, and you're like, but it is crystalled. It came from Mother Nature. A penguin handed it to the man in the suit when they got the water from. Be like, I have no clue where that came. It could from the tap. Some guy could have tapped that right out of the tap, and you'd have no clue because it's water. And they bottled it and made it look pretty. The difference is, you look at right now with Eli Manning, and the only reason he is in the conversations, and he's packaged that way, is because he won 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
And he won probably the most memorable overall Super Bowl because he ended the perfect season. Mm-hmm. He ended that perfect season.
And had that play inside the Super Bowl.
Yes, which won the game for them. Yeah. He made that play with help David Tyree. Fred Robbins on the team. I always joke with him. Choose your words wisely. I was just talking to Fred yesterday, but big teddy bear. But just saying, 6'5", 350. You don't really like, hey punk. None of that going on right there. On
behalf of Miami Dolphins, I owe him a handshake. Then,
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, go
my
shake his hand right there.
Yeah.
If you walked up to him, it would be a little like when you've met him and he's done the shows with us.
Yeah.
It's a little that sounds a little like a little bit creepy to walk up and just say, I owe you a handshake. Like, just shake it. What's up, bro? Like, just give him give him some daps or something. I owe you a handshake, though. Don't represent it like that.
I wasn't go up to him,
sir. Like he just jumped back. Like,
I
who's
owe
this
you
guy,
a handshake.
Man?
No.
Present yourself here, sir.
I owe you a handshake. Can I give it to you in my training room?
Yeah. He's walking up the stairwell to get here. And Fred Robbins is going to be doing an NFL show with us on Sunday mornings. Mr. Robbins Neighborhood does so much for the community. We're building it right now with about 6 or 7 former NFL players, and it's going to be awesome. We're looking forward. We're going to get the community involved, have some fun. But, yeah. If you jump at somebody and say, I owe you a handshake, that's you're probably
don't pick a former NFL football player to jump at and do that at either.
You say, I owe you $50, and they'll be like, okay, well, continue, sir. Don't know you, but you're about to give me cash. No, I owe you a handshake's not going to fly. Let's get to our best non-conference matchups. I knew what you meant, buddy. I only got some, we're just joshing with you.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Best non-conference show. Best non-conference games. The best showdown. Sweet 16. Let's start it off. We're going to put comparable matchups here. So, if you'd like to, it's up to you. You could play some fun chiming music here underneath it. That's up. You just gave me the eye, like, don't tell me how to do my job. Here it is. All right, best non-conference, just to pump it up a little. Let's get this.
Give me a second.
Alicia Keys. I'm just. All right, let's get into this. Best non-conference matchups. We should do this while we play Celine Dion. We talked about. Have you ever seen the? I don't want to get into this. So we're getting off track. Shocking in the show. So let's get back on. Best non-conference show. That's perfect. Let's put that low. Put that low. This is perfect. That's perfect. Okay, let's crank that up right now.
I think there might be some copyright.
While you're typing here, Texas A&M at Clemson versus Notre Dame at Michigan.
Ooh.
Perfect. There you go.
Give those to me one more time.
Oh, this is the remix. It's about to go into like a whole entire out of nowhere. You think you're like Disney pop remix. It's all of a sudden start throwing out ludicrous out there rhymes. Kid's birthday party. Imagine the start of the itsy bitsy spider with remix. All of a sudden, like, get low, like kids. What's happening? All right, let's get to this. Texas A&M at Clemson versus Notre Dame at Michigan.
I'm going to go Texas A&M at Clemson.
Somebody's bitterly disappointed in that. I'm going to go with Notre Dame and Michigan. And the reason for it is Texas A&M going to Clemson, they're not ready for it. Kellen Mond. I'm looking at the overall landscape of the game itself, meaning that you have two teams battling for something.
Yeah.
And is it going to be a close game? So take that into account. It's not just the names, but will this be an okay football game too?
See, I don't have much faith in Michigan this year. I just really don't. I think what we saw from them, the people that we saw from them in the Peach Bowl last year that didn't really do much against Florida, that's going to be their starters this year. So I'm not entirely sold on Michigan this year.
Okay. I'm going to go Notre Dame at Michigan. I think that's going to be – it's a great rivalry, too, brought back. It hasn't been gone for a while, but it's one of those that you didn't want to see leave in the first place, just like Texas and Texas A&M. Looking at some of the other ones here as we break it down here. Boise State, Florida State, August 31st in Jacksonville versus Nebraska and Colorado.
I'm going to go Boise State, Florida State in this one because I think Boise State's getting overlooked in this. A lot of people are looking at this on Florida State's schedule going, this is a game Florida State should win and gets them started off 1-0, gives them a little bit more confidence. Boise State's a good football team. They've proven that they know how to play against top-tier talent. They know how to beat teams that are Power 5 teams. I actually, at this point right now, I know we're still at 3 or 4 weeks away from this game happening. I actually have Boise State favored over Florida State in this game. So,
okay.
But I think it's going to be a good close game in Jacksonville.
I'm going to go as well on this one, Boise State and Florida State. A lot of intrigue with Florida State. And anytime you get a chance to play Boise State, it's always going to carry that value of, hey, that was the team that when Kellen Moore and Zabransky were there, it was at one point, folks, through 3 seasons, their record, I think, was 39-2. Something of the – I mean, at one point, they had 2 undefeated seasons where they never even – I mean, they dominated teams. And, yes, competition. But remember, they were still getting the same recruits as the teams like Nevada and New Mexico. They just were that much better and did kill 2,000 birds a year on that Smurf turf. Looking at the next game as we break down best non-conference matchups, getting you prepared now with only 18 days until toe meets leather. Oregon versus Auburn, August 31st. Or Florida versus Miami?
I think Florida versus Miami is probably going to be a little bit of a wash. I think that it's probably going to be a close game. Florida's probably going to win by maybe 10 points or so. 31-20 type ball game, something like that. But this Auburn-Oregon game is going to be a knockdown, drag-out. You've got a great defense in Auburn, or not a great defense, but a good defense in Auburn, an SEC-caliber defense in Auburn, going up against Justin Herbert, who is expected to be the top quarterback in college football. So I think that, I think I'm going to go with that game just because of the matchups in it.
All right, moving on here to our next game, taking a look at the matchup between BYU and Tennessee versus Cincinnati and Ohio State.
Cincinnati and Ohio State. Cincinnati went 11-2 last year with Luke Fickell. I believe that was his first year as the head coach. So I'm looking for Cincinnati to be able to make some noise against Ohio State. I don't think they'll beat Ohio State, but I definitely think that we'll get this so everybody can see.
It is. That's a good view shot right there.
I don't think Cincinnati beats Ohio State, but I think they keep it close.
Looking at our next matchup right here, as we have the matchup between Arizona State, Michigan State, and Oklahoma versus UCLA.
I'm gonna have to go Arizona State. This is this is 2 interesting coaching matchups in this game, and I'm gonna go with Arizona State. I don't think Chip Kelly has a good team at UCLA.
All right, moving on to our next matchup here, Miami at Florida State, or the matchup between Washington State and Houston.
I'm going to go Miami at Florida State because I think by that point in time, Miami's going to have a little bit more of an identity of who they are under Manny Diaz. I think Florida State's going to have a couple of wins under their belt that's going to give them some confidence. So I think that's going to be a good game.
Stanford at UCF. This one is all about the championships, folks. Stanford at UCF versus Bama and Duke. You got to make them clash on this. The real and the fake.
UCF
fake
easily.
news.
Stanford UCF.
Okay,
easily.
there we go.
This is
once again we win. We win the title.
Yep, this is going to be the benchmark for Central Florida. They can beat Stanford, then I think they're still going to have a really good year.
Duke
could be a New Year's Six bowl team.
Remember, Daniel Jones, whether you think he's the quarterback or not, is done. So,
he is.
Or I mean, the quarterback of the future for the Giants. He's in the NFL. Bama wins this game by about 40 points.
Yeah,
so
Louisville
it's not,
suffered through last year, week 1. Duke has 2 this year.
And the championship matchup.
All right.
Notre Dame at Georgia, September 21st, versus LSU at Texas, September 7th.
See, I think LSU at Texas is going to be a better football game. I think Notre Dame and Georgia, whoever wins that's going to be by a double digit. I think that's going to be about a 10-point ball game when it's all said and done. I think this LSU-Texas game, these guys are fighting for more than just a win. The win here boasts them into the college football playoff picture, and it also helps them with recruiting. So there's a lot on the line in this LSU-Texas game. So I'm going to go with that one.
Perfect. You're like, am I supposed to end right here? What am I doing?
Am I going to break?
That's it. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more as we'll get into the college football countdown. 18 days. We'll get into some more big stories, what to expect, the biggest stories of the offseason, giving you a little reminder of all those times you might have set that vacation to Gatlinburg or out there to city in Atlanta, showed off on Facebook, and then the next thing you know, football's here. So we're going to recap the biggest stories of the college football offseason right here in the Sports Drive.
Welcome to Bowl!
Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally
So
off.
I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. Snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
Introducing the next generation of SiriusXM with all new features, exclusively on the SiriusXM app and online. Enjoy over 100 ad-free extra channels filled with music for any mood. Create your own ad-free music stations with personalized stations powered by Pandora. Watch video of your favorite shows and performances, and listen in more places than ever because listening outside the car is now included in even more packages. Visit SiriusXM.com/connect to start listening today.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Valvoline is the only motor oil brand with a dedicated engine lab. And here, we test everything. We test seal conditioners to keep older engines from leaking. We test detergents to help reduce soot. We test additives that protect against wear, increase fuel economy, and fight carbon buildup. Why? Because we won't settle for being less than the best, and you shouldn't either. Valvoline, trusted for 150 years. Now at Advanced Auto Parts, buy Valvoline full synthetic high mileage with Max Life technology and a filter for only $33.99. See store for restrictions and details.
Sports is live and local every Saturday from 11 to 1.
You hear Nick Saban say, well, we need to get back to the Alabama standard. You went 13-1, 14-1 last year. You lost in the national title game to a guy who's probably going to be the next it quarterback inside the NFL.
Sports Call with Jordan Glass and Davis Allen on your radio, on Facebook, and YouTube.
Year one with Dan Mullen, we saw a lot of growth out of him because they also expanded him.
At ESPN Pensacola 945.
Hey, this is Bomani on the latest episode of The Right Time. We're talking about Ezekiel Elliott's holdout, Jeremy Lin, what he's going through, and the latest installment of The Right Time Book Club with Lane O'Neal of The Undefeated. Be sure to check us out wherever you get your podcast.
What's up, Scott Van Pelt here, Episode 2, SVP and Russillo. We make some lists, which, as you know, I'm not good at. Tons of NBA content. Russillo invented a game. It's called Line Movers. SVP and Russillo podcast. Find it on the ESPN app and Apple Podcast.
Cinema.
Welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. I am Chad Brillante. Glad to be with you here as always. Broadcasting here from our ESPN Pensacola studios. 850-972-1945 is the number. 850-972-1945 is the number to be part of the show. As tonight, Pensacola Blue Wahoos will be back in action. Nice win, and getting it done 7-4. They continue to win. Alex Kirilov, Royce Lewis, These guys are showing up big. Yep. Last night, it was a comeback win right there. It was a battle back and forth. I was actually at the game for a little while left, and then had a chance to watch the end right there with Shugart on the news talking about it. But a big win. Nice win there, and now they've won 13 of their last 16 and have a good shot to win the second half. It's going to be right down the stretch now, as there's still some baseball left, but remember, it's not as long as the Major League Baseball season, so it'll be ending here sooner. But, Jordan, I'm telling you what, they've really picked up their game, and moving up Kirilloff and Lewis into those two spots, huge, as they would say, right there over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and they are actually taking that show on the road. As a matter of fact, they're actually going to be off today, but they'll be back in action tomorrow on Wednesday, 6:35. They're taking the show on the road to Mobile. It's the last series in Mobile and against Mobile ever, as the Bay Bears are going bye-bye at the end of the season.
Yeah, they're done. Yeah. Hank Aaron Stadium doesn't get the traffic right there. I guess when people are driving 100 on 65 over there, they're not stopping like some of the people might on West Main Street, where you're stopping anyway because it's backed up and right there at the light trying to get home. So.
It's some similarities between the situation with the Bay Bears and the Tampa Bay Rays, actually, because there was a story. The city kind of wanted a new stadium, or they wanted a new stadium. They weren't necessarily kind of
in Montreal
willing to build the stadium there for them. So there was some different stories as to why the Bay Bears are heading out of Mobile.
The best stories of the offseason as we take a look here at college football. Yeah, needs to know right here, what you need to know that has happened during the offseason. Let's get to that right now. Looking at the Sports Drives 5, checking in at number 5. No herb, but many disturbed. I think that's fair to say. You look at the situation with Ohio State, they're not 100% sure. Some were upset that Justin Fields was able to transfer. Other people thought Urban Meyer still maybe wanted to stay around the program because he was still there. Remember, teaching leadership classes. Ryan Day steps in, and even people that maybe don't want to root for Ohio State, like a Michigan fan, Ryan Day seems like a good guy. I mean, there's some guys that you don't really want to root against. Willie Taggart, that sort of went out the door when it went chaos last year at Florida State. But Willie Taggart was down here at the Pensacola Yacht Club right there with the Greater Seminole Club with Gene Deckerhoff, one of the greatest voices of all time. And Willie's just he said, I'm a kid in the candy store. This is my dream job. I'm so happy. I get a chance to coach where Bobby Bowden coached, where Jimbo Fisher. I'm here. But you're not going to be there long with seasons like that.
I was going to say, so far that dream has been a nightmare.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as a person, if you met Willie Taggart, many yelled or broke their TV last year or threw things. When they went Fear the Spear, they took a literal spear and smashed it through their Vizio watching those games. All of that being said, I think Willie Taggart, if you met him as a person, you'd be like, okay, respectable guy, nice human being. We look at our athletes and our coaches like commodities a lot of times. Bill Belichick looks like a homeless sloth half the time, but he wins 6 Super Bowls. He's the best coach in NFL history, and people look at him and they go, he's a legend. They're going to make bronze statues of this guy, and he looks like the guy, if you didn't know he coached football, you would walk up to him and you would put if he had a cup that maybe it was a hot coffee because he's in New England on a January day, you'd probably put a quarter in there and be like, bless your heart, and walk away. But this guy's a legend. It's not always about what you look or your demeanor or all that. It's about, we look at coaches and athletes by the records. We don't always look at them as people.
Yeah.
Larry Bird, not the nicest guy. Michael Jordan's made bad mistakes. Ray Lewis might have did something at a club. Yeah. But when it comes down to the actual people, we look at people of what they do in sports.
Right.
And unless we want to add to our conversation to help our point. What I mean by that, everything I just said is true until you get to some Major League Baseball players who are on that Mitchell report for steroids. People don't like bare bones, and they say, the guy's a jerk. Well, Ty Cobb drank a pint of whiskey and stabbed a guy with his cleat when he was out there, but guess what? It was different in the 1908. The 1908 season for the Tigers is a little different back there. They smoked cigars before they went out there to pull the pitcher. Let me take one more quick whiff of this Cuban right here.
Hold my stogie.
Yeah, hold it real quick. Sir, you wrong arm. Sorry, a couple of these scotches are kicking in right here.
Or just let it hang between their fingers, just call the bullpen, and then just take a hit off of it. Yeah.
Coach Johnson, they're off the mound. We've been done for 2 hours. But I think a lot of times, if we want to make our point, we make them into jerks. But if they're winning, we just look the other way. We don't care.
Yeah.
But Barry Bonds was the best baseball player I ever watched. He said it. That guy's a cheat. Yeah, well, okay, the record books,
statistically,
whether you want to put one of those asterisks from one of those phone commercials or not next to them, you can call them whatever you want. We have a lot of Hank Aaron fans, a lot of all-natural people we expect. But Barry Bonds had 73 home runs. Mm-hmm. He broke the single-season record by Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, and also before that with Roger Maris. You also have Hank Aaron, who was the home run king, and Babe Ruth, and he broke that record. But we want to assume that it's in the record books as asterisks because we don't like him. He's a jerk, cheater. He was the face of the steroid era. I hate him. Don't like Barry. Still not in the Hall of Fame. 7 MVPs. Not with like in parentheses, not UCF fake national title shirts like I have. 7 legit MVPs by the league. Not even Reggie Bush ones that they take away when we watched him walk across stage and win the Heisman. Not even that. Like 7 legit ones compared to 3 for the second best of all time. You got a guy that has 7 MVPs in a game that's very tough to win MVP consistently in baseball because there's so many moving parts. About 320 and then go back to 240 the next year if you have a little off week. 7 MVPs over a 20-year span. Second in the history of the game has 3, but this guy's not in the Hall of Fame. It's because we judge on our emotion and how we want when we want. But at other times, as long as they're not doing anything criminal or we don't think they're juicing or things like that, we just go about our business. But Willie Taggart seems like one of the nicer guys, but he's not winning. He's not doing a good job. So we're going to town on him. We all have. Last year when they started the season 1-2 and their only win was against Sanford, you can't spell Willie without 1 W and 2 L's.
Even still lost that game.
They would have if it wasn't a rain delay. And he was like, and somebody in there was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like they probably called in, one of the players that lives in that area, Corey Simon or something like, "You guys, are you serious? Like you're losing to Sanford at home. Like my wife and kids came out here to watch. It's homecoming. We're just trying to enjoy our night. And you guys, we thought we were going to get out of here at 9:30. What the?" Like they were probably pretty upset about that. And they came back and they won. It was a delay, and they came back and won that game. It wasn't like it was a singing Kumbaya afterwards. You beat Sanford at home in a game you were favored by 48 in the fourth quarter when you're losing. But I think a lot of times we just, like I said, we look at those people as the way we want to. And it's never going to change. Same thing with politics, the way we look at things. But that's something that numbers don't lie and the stats don't lie. And for Willie Taggart, it was pretty chaotic last year. And I think he's one of the good guys, like a Ryan Day we were talking about. But people have a reason to root against a guy like that.
No, you're absolutely right. I think if you look at Ryan Day and Willie Taggart, Ryan Day actually got an opportunity last year when Urban Meyer was suspended.
Yes.
Went 3-0, and I think he kind of earned that head coaching job, and that's why a lot of people are a little bit more high on the expectation meter for him at Ohio State than what they're seeing for Willie Taggart. A lot of people even think that if Willie Taggart and Florida State struggle again this year, that Willie Taggart won't see a third season. I think he probably will see a third season regardless. They put too much money in him. I think you give him 3 years to try to get things turned around. If there's no results after 3 years, then you make the move to get rid of him. But yeah, Willie Taggart, likable guy off the field, but so far has just not proven that has what it takes for that coaching job at Florida State. Whether it's his dream job or not, he's got to get things turned around, or that candy shop's going to go sour pretty quick.
Best chance between Les Miles at Kansas or Mac Brown at North Carolina to have a better showdown. They're both going to have. They're both not going to go 500. I mean, I think it's going to be tough.
Mac Brown has talented athletes. He has Navarre's own Michael Carter.
That's right.
Les Miles will be going up against horrible defenses inside the Big 12. I'm going to go Mac Brown at North Carolina. That's familiar territory to him. He's been there before. I think he's kind of well rested. He's been off of coaching a little longer than Les Miles has.
That's fair.
I think better talent trumps the weaker division as far as defense goes. So I'm going to go with North Carolina and Mac Brown.
Well, it's like New Year's and having a celebration with streamers and party hats if you go 3-9 at Kansas. So I mean, his expectations aren't that high. Maybe he can take him to the next level. Maybe he can take him to Snoop Dogg level at one point. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more of college football, Sports Drives 5. John Steele of the Retirement Planners will join us here. He's got his nice banner right there, 850-995-1999. That's not the right way to say it, so I'll let him do it. When we come back right here in the Sports Drive.
Here's Tony Romo for Skechers Slip-On Footwear.
Now that I've hung up the cleats, I like to wear a more comfortable shoe.
In fact, I like to wear the most comfortable shoe, Skechers slip-ons. Skechers slip-ons are simply the best. For one thing, there's no laces, so they just slip right on. Then there's the Skechers air-cooled memory foam. It cradles your feet and provides unbelievable comfort that lasts all day long. Skechers slip-ons are the most comfortable, easy-to-wear shoes I've ever worn.
Try Skechers slip-ons with air-cooled memory foam today. Skechers, comfort included.
When Jamie Stevens got out of the Navy in 1968, he opened J&D Cleaners. With his commitment to quality cleaning at fair prices, the business grew to become the best dry cleaners in Santa Rosa County. Jimmy's son, Corey, owns J&D Cleaners now, and he shares the family commitment to excellence. J&D Cleaners has discounts for military uniforms, on-site alterations, and a convenient drive-through window at the Milton location. Trust your clothes to J&D Cleaners on Stewart Street, just north of 90 in Milton, and on Woodbine Road, just south of 5 Points and Pace. It's J&D Cleaners.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golic and Wingo. Oh, yeah. To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office.
Well, we're very appreciative to Dabo Swinney, the head coach of the national champion Clemson Tigers, to take the time to be with us.
Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio.
He does possess the skills necessary to play and be successful in the National Football League or anywhere else.
And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 945.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. What if people had a battery level icon? Like on your phone. You'd see a lot of us in need of a recharge. Thank goodness there's 5-Hour Energy. Because just one sugar-free, vitamin-packed 5-Hour Energy shot can get you all the way back to 100% fast. And isn't life better at 100%? 5-Hour Energy. Get back to 100%. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
Welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Chad Berliante with you here alongside Jordan Glass. John Steele, the retirement planners, will join us here in a short time from now. I got this sheet. I feel like Andy Reid here doing play calls with my daughter's artwork that she was in the mid-process of it and I took it. So we'll do the show like this with the hat in this. Looking at things you probably didn't know. Let's get to that. You know, to give somebody, you're driving home right now, you're at your home, you're watching, you're listening, things you probably didn't know. Bear Bryant made $450,000 in his final year in 1982 with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Today, you want to take an OJ at how much that would be worth?
I would probably say around $6 million mark.
$11.8 million equivalent.
Wow.
11.8 is what he would be worth for his final year. A lot of money, a lot of difference for the times. Moving on here to our next things you probably didn't know, getting set for the season. That's a good one around the water cooler right there.
Yeah.
As it doesn't change your life, but yeah, good. Anyone likes a good bear, you know. You can give him a hug, talk a little bear hug right there. Dabo Jimbo meets September 7th. The average daily income when Clemson in that matchup right there against Texas A&M is $47,000 per household in Clemson, South Carolina. The income for Jimbo Fisher and Dabo Swinney on an average daily income is $49,000. So the two coaches average $49,000 a day. So if you're having a bad practice, be like, psst, he should have a money guy. You know the signs? When the guy just holds up a sign where it has apple, grapefruit, Lee Corso, and California, and they run that play on the sidelines. Oregon uses them. A lot of teams like that. Just the quick offenses run those poster boards.
Yeah.
A duck, a Harley Davidson, a picture of a penguin, and then Putin or something like that. You have all these random signs right there, and those players know what's going on. That's what should happen. You should have a sign guy like Jimbo, psst, angry at his offensive line in practice, kicking his foot, and be like, psst, put down. That's Taylor Jacobs. Put it down. Oh no, I meant this sign. $48,000. $48,000. That'd be all right. That's what I made today, guys. Let's get back in the huddle. I'm okay.
What happens to the player that's getting chewed out and he looks at him and goes, Coach, why are you so angry? You're making $50,000 for just getting out of bed.
Yeah. As you yelled at me, you just made $2,000. Right. And I think, that's a lot of money. Just to put it in perspective. And we love our coaches, and they're worth it.
Yeah.
But you think about that. An average daily household makes $47 to $48 in that city, and the people going into that city that day are going to make more in one day. Just one of them, too. That's the average, not combined, but the average of one right there. 10 years, $75 million for Jimbo. 10-year, $93 for Dabo. Jimbo Fisher, would you put him in where do you draw the line? Everybody has when people throw words around, I'm literally starving. Are you really? Have you lived in Somalia for 4 months eating bugs and earthworms and dying of heat and dehydration, or are you just mad because you missed lunch? You put things into perspective. But for people that talk about 10-year, $93 million or 10 years, $75 million, that's a lot. But where do you draw? Where is your mindset on what the word elite means in college football? Would you put Jimbo Fisher? Dabo's in it.
Right. Dabo and Nick Saban
Saban's in it. Urban was in it.
Yeah.
Would you put people like Jim Harbaugh or Jimbo Fisher or folks like Dan Mullen? Dan has a little more time. He doesn't have the accolades, but he builds more with less. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He did it with Mississippi State. He hasn't won championships besides being a coordinator, so he's not going to count in this. But overall, who do you think is in that class? Where do you draw the line at elite? Is it just Saban and Dabo?
Yeah, right now in college football, it is just those two. And I think a guy like Jimbo and a guy like Kirby Smart and Jim Harbaugh's barely in this category. But it's, again, going back to what we talk about with the rankings. You've got Alabama, Clemson. Then you've got Georgia underneath them. Then you've got the little cluster of Oklahoma, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and LSU. I would probably put Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney right there where Alabama and Clemson would be ranked at the top two teams as the top two coaches. But then right underneath them, you've got guys like Jimbo Fisher. You've got Jim Harbaugh. You've got Kirby Smart at Georgia. They're guys that are – Jimbo Fisher has a ring from Florida State, and I think that's what keeps him in there. Because right now at Texas A&M, even though he's only been there 1 year, he doesn't really have anything to show for it. But I think eventually he will. And I think that's why you put him in that category that's right below elite. So I think by the end of his time at Texas A&M, I think he makes that jump into that category.
Yeah, the bling is huge when you. I mean, it ends conversations real quick. That's the old Jordan. 6 championships, 6-0. What like when the LeBron conversation, and it's not fair because John Sally could be sitting somewhere, but 11, bro. Bill Russell's got more rings than fingers. That doesn't always work. Yeah, you can sit the bench again, but if you're a quarterback, it means something because you were the catalyst that got you the rings. That means something because you were the guy that had the chance. And sometimes you're on a bad team, but most of the time you can look at a lot of the. Tom Brady didn't always have a perfect roster. There are quarterbacks that have done it with. If you put Aaron Rodgers on some teams, I think he takes that next step. Green Bay's had some bad ones, but there are some guys that step up and make plays, and some that don't in the playoffs. That's how it works. Some are clutch, some are not. Is it fair that a guy can go 14-2 consistently? Andy Reid, I looked at a stat. Over the last 30 years in the NFL, Andy Reid is second to Bill Belichick in wins, losses, in records of all. But he's looked at as he never wins a big one because he has 0 rings.
Yeah, he can't get it done in the postseason.
His average season has been 11-5. Average season. I mean, that's really good because if you have one slip up at a 7-9 season, that throws everything off. He averages 11-5. Bill Belichick average is right there to like 11.5 because he had a couple crappy years with Cleveland. But overall, he's the second best of all time in our lifetime. But he has 0 rings, so we just immediately go, no championships, not where he needs. But that's what he worked his butt off. It's not what I want to look at. But like all of this, not that I ever would, and that was horribly. I don't want to saying that right now. But you look at that right now, and you see a coach that we judge solely on one thing when his career says something else. And when it comes down to coaches and players, sometimes that's the case. And when it comes to rings, right now it's just Dabo. And it's just Saban, obviously, because Urban Meyer's finding a daughter to see if he has a volleyball game to get to. We're coming back for more. Second hour. John Steele will join us right here on the Sports Drive.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
Those up the middle. And to the short at the 40. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 29. He's getting Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Mother Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell.
The new WNBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end Paul. That opens up the door. Breaking the Cambridge tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. And Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola 945 and on Blab TV. Second hour of the program goes now. We appreciate you tuning in as always. 850-972-1945 is the number. Jordan Glass joining us as always, doing a great job. You can hear him on Cat Country 98.7 as well, on playing some of the great hits right there and having some fun, right?
The best songs in today's new country.
That's right. Enjoyed it right there. The Cat Conundrums. I can't figure any of them out. I always get confused.
I have the hometown countdown, so that's
you have the answer key. That's always fun.
Well, Moose is that conundrum, so that's his deal. If you want the answers for that, you got to talk to him.
Well, more importantly than all of us, because all of our jobs are fun, but the answers to financially being successful, which is pretty important for everybody. John Steele joins us from the Retirement Planners. He's a guy that can help you if you really want help, the real people that want help in changing their lives and be financially sound. John, what's happening, my friend?
Great things. Hey, you turned me
there
on.
He is.
Hey, man.
Well,
that was
you got to
pretty good.
explain what you just said.
I thought that I was going to sit here like I did the first half hour and just say nothing and not me anywhere. No, what's going on? Well, right now I'll give you a little hit on what's happening in the market. Okay. We had a big sell-off yesterday, the biggest one this year. And the reason we had that sell-off was because China's trying to play silly games. They devalued their currency. And they said they're not going to buy any agricultural products from our farmers. And they're really getting nasty. So what they're trying to do is, you see, I think, Xi went and read Trump's book, The Art of the Deal.
Yes.
And so he's starting to understand a little bit about Trump works. And then about a week ago, Trump was talking about, well, maybe we should devalue the dollar a little bit and help our exporters. And what people don't realize is he set up Xi Jinping to devalue the Chinese currency because Trump suggested it. And so he thought he'd get a jump on it. Well, the interesting part of all that is guess what? Since the 1990s, guess what the Chinese yuan is linked to? What backs the Chinese currency? Do you have any idea? Officially.
I would have to say the U.S. dollar.
Exactly. They tied it to the U.S. dollar back in the 1990s. And so if they lower their currency value, what does that do to the dollar? It makes us stronger. Terrible. I mean, these guys haven't figured it out yet. And they're playing all these games over there. And the last articles I read, in excess of 35% of the manufacturing in China has left. It's going to Vietnam, Taipei, Japan, Vietnam, India. And so the longer China plays this game, at some point in time, they're not going to have much left to negotiate with. And the interesting part of it is what you're seeing is exactly what happened between Ronald Reagan and the Soviets. Capitalism, free markets, always beats communism when it comes to economic competition. Always. Always has, always will. And so they're trying, from their communist perspective, trying to play this. Well, that's adversely affect our markets. We recovered about a third of it today. But this is getting kind of exciting because yesterday was a great buying opportunity. How much stock did you buy yesterday?
I actually did not buy any yesterday.
You didn't?
No.
That's the best buying opportunity you've had in almost 12 months.
I put 50% of everything I've made into turquoise rings.
Did you really?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I didn't think you did. If you want to buy turquoise, what you do is you go out to Arizona, you drive up in the mountains, you find the local Indian tribes that are selling turquoise alongside of the road. And then you go by and you negotiate with them for a while, and then you don't buy. Okay? You wait until just before dark and you buy a case of beer. And then you come back and you sit down with that guy you negotiated with, and you guys drink most of that case of beer. You get that turquoise dirt cheap, man. I'm telling you, I got a big turquoise medallion. That sucker must be that big, all in silver. $50. By the time we drank almost a case of beer, I took it down and had it appraised a couple of days later in Arizona at a jewelry shop, and the guy told me it was worth about $1,800.
You're telling me I can bring a couple cocktails to a reservation and make friends?
It's worked for a couple hundred years.
I think you can do that anywhere now, though. That's.
Yeah, I mean, no offense, but
hey, you could probably do that, like you said. That works with many cultures right there.
Yeah, well, it doesn't even have to be American Indians. Yeah. There's been lots of times I've been able to get a couple of drinks in somebody and cut a much better deal. But it happens.
Sambuca with Italian relative. Look, you bring some Scottish.
But you were asking what's happening in the financial world. That's what it is, and it's going to get interesting because the Chinese are used to playing a long game. Okay, and they think that they can last out this president until the next election. I don't think they can, but it's going to get more and more interesting as time goes on, and you're going to see a lot of things happen in the economy, and most of them still are good. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm amazed watching the negotiations that are going on. I mean, it's almost like three really good agents trying to represent the next NBA star as they battle over what they're actually going to get.
I want to get to some college football talk about what you talked about right there with some of the guys about negotiations, because college athletes are going to have more opportunity. You already saw it with the NBA. They started to disperse. And the NBA is a little bit different than college football because, college basketball is a little different than college football because you have to be a couple years removed. And most agents and most people, the devil on your shoulder in the old cartoons, they're not getting to you early and be like, take the money, get out of school, come back here. Because they know you got to wait a little while. And there's very rarely there's a 19-year-old kid or an 18-year-old kid that is ready to be in the NFL because you got to develop. When it comes to basketball, there's some guys, Zion Williamson was just waiting, watching the clock tick. LeBron James. There's a lot of guys, and LeBron got to, but a lot of over the last decade in college basketball, there's been 50, 60 guys that are just waiting to see that paycheck if they're not already, and they know they're being handcuffed because they could be starting in the NBA. I think we're going to come to a time with the XFL, with many other leagues that are going to open up the door to get better, to try to get a piece of that star before they go to the NFL or before they decide to do something else. And it's going to come down to a point where, even though we got Gene Stallings on here, Coach Gene Stallings or Pat Dye saying, look, these kids go for an education. A lot of these kids today, they want to get paid. They maybe were in a bad situation at home. Their family has no money. I was reading the story yesterday that one of the players in training camp right now, his parents are homeless, and he's just so happy to just make the team because if he makes the team, there's a contract guaranteed money. The minimum on a veteran on a regular contract to make a team on the roster is $400,000 a year if you make the 52-man roster, and that can pay for a lot of things. And $400,000 for someone like you to put into the retirement planners can become a lot more money. But a lot of these guys are going to start making that decision and start to separate from college football. I don't know if we're going to see the trend immediately, but more things are brewing, and we're having this conversation every year. Do you think that is a viable plan, or do you think the way it's set up right now for college football is, look, these guys build a little bit, become an adult, and if you're good enough, you get that money at the next level anyway? Do you think the system is set up right?
Here's the thing that I look at if you're going to talk about football, okay, because it's different from the other sports. What's the normal lifespan of a professional football player? How long does he usually play? You're looking at 3.5 years for the average. Okay? So now if that kid starts at 18 or 17, is he going to make it more than that 3.5 years before he's injured or cut or replaced? So, they may start earlier and they may make some money, and they may make the money much earlier than life, which means they're probably even less prepared to deal with the money. But is that going to extend the time length of their career, which if they have a long career like Brady, okay, and they can make a lot of money if they can last that long. But the average doesn't. The average is, what everything I can read, is 3.5, maybe max of 4 years in the NFL, and you're pretty much done. And there's not too many that make it way beyond that. And so if you give this kid the money at 17, let's say, okay, that means his career's over by the time he's 21.
And
then now, if his career's over at 21 and he didn't go to college and he didn't get an education, what's he going to do?
Insurance? Somebody has to clean that goat that you have down there.
That's right. No, they have to groom it. They have to groom it. You don't have to clean it. Just you groom it. It's all cashmere.
It's all cashmere.
Yeah, and you have to brush it out and make it really pretty. When you stop and you think about, okay, what happens if we keep getting people to go in? Now, the NFL's different. NBA, they usually play a little longer, okay? So if a kid gets in at 17, 18, 19, gets into the NBA, he might have, a 7, 8, 9, 10-year career before, unless he's really good and he can stretch it a little longer. So now he's pushing 30 by the time his career's about over. If you're looking at the NFL and a kid gets in there at 17 or 18, let's say, by the time he's 22, he's done. How would you like to have your life over at 22? You know,
almost did a few times in college.
I can believe that. But to stop and think about it, one, what's it going to do to the kid? Two, is it going to actually improve the sport? You know, by having this, you know, the young person, that might be a super athlete, and he might be amazing to watch. What are you doing to the kid? You give him a big contract for a while, and he'll be broke by the time he washes out of the league. And then what's he going to do? You know, I was reading articles today. It was just fun. How many professional athletes are sitting in prison now because, you know, they stabbed or shot their wife, or, you know, they did, you know, nasty things.
Right.
You know, nasty things. So if you get an individual that gets at that and matures too young, gets a lot of money, and he hasn't had a chance to get his feet on the ground, what's going to really happen to his life? I mean, some of them are really good. You know, I get a kick out every time I go to a conference. I end up meeting people from Fran Tarkington's financial group. Okay? and Fran's a great guy. I've met him several times, and it's wonderful. But there aren't very many out there that have the savvy that a Fran Tarkington had to say, okay, this career's done. Now I got to go do something else. And he prepared for that before he went. But, you know, if you get kids in too young, I'm not so sure it'd be good for the league, or it'd even be good for, you know, what happened to the old days? You know, like I remember walking through the museum at Lambeau Stadium, and the guys who first started the Packers, when they first started, how much money did they make? I mean, these were guys that just showed up in a uniform and played in the games, and maybe they had one practice during the week, because the rest of the time they were working.
Made enough money to get a few
and
false teeth
and a lot
replaced right there. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
And you know why they're called the Packers?
Mm-hmm.
It was originally financed, and most of the guys worked at a meatpacking plant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so they made more money working at the meatpacking plant for 75 cents an hour than they made on a football field. Those guys played because they loved the game.
Yep.
Okay? If we lose too much of that along the way, you know, I spent 20 years in the United States Navy. Did I spend 20 years in the United States Navy because I wanted to make a lot of money?
No. Obviously. I mean,
no. Okay? Why'd I do it?
You loved it.
I loved it. I love my country. I felt obligated to serve. I enjoyed it. I did what I was going to do. How do we instill that into kids that are going into professional athletics? Especially, I'm going to throw out one of my pet peeves. You know, when I was growing up, you know, you had people that played, you know, Bob Gibson at the St. Louis Cardinals, okay? I remember listening to both World Series games he pitched, okay? But Bob Gibson was the St. Louis Cardinals at that time, and we all linked to him. All right? Now, what happens if, you know, you get players today and they keep moving them? That loyalty's not there. The love of the game, the commitment to the team, the fans' commitment. That's why I'm a Green Bay fan. It's because I grew up as a Cardinals fan. And Bill Bidwell moved him out of town to Phoenix in the middle of the night, and I was just done with the NFL. And so I went and started aligning myself with a team that the NFL can't do that to. I want my loyalty there. I want, you know, I want people to stick. How often does Green Bay trade off their starting quarterbacks?
Not much from a starting quarterback.
No. No, they trade others. But as far as their stars, they understand that fan loyalty. A lot of your other sports have lost that. And now it's the money, and I understand that. Young kid coming out of high school, maybe he's got a year or two of college, and he's really showing that he's really great at something. Or like that guy, what was it? Where was he? Out of Dodger Stadium? What was that guy that was just walked up and decided to throw a ball at the stadium and hit 96 miles an hour?
Yeah, there was. I think it was that. Yep.
Wasn't that Dodger Stadium?
I think it was.
Yeah, in 96.
Dodgers and Rockies game or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
And Oakland called him.
Yeah,
he got a contract.
Yeah. Right on this, virtually on the spot. Okay, that's fine, and I think that's great. And the guy, you know, what happened to the days when in the NFL when you used to have walk-ons? How much do you see of that anymore?
Well, you'll never see that again.
No. But when I was really following the NFL in the 70s and the 80s and even into the 90s, that was a big deal every year that, Miami had 2 walk-ons that turned out to be grand champions. I mean, just, and you kind of go, you're losing the loyalty. It's all the money. Mm-hmm. And are we really helping the sport? Are we losing what the sport was really about? You guys are masters. You guys know all the statistics. You know all these people. You know all this stuff. What draws me, the average guy, to professional sports? What draws me? Now, you guys, you're obsessed with this stuff, and that's your job, and you should be. But what the average fan, the guy who's going to spend the money to go to a game, because you guys usually get in free. Okay, I mean, it ain't like the rest of us. But in any event, what draws us?
Cheerleaders.
Yeah,
you had to think for a second. I was going to say, yeah.
But
you're
now,
like, well.
No, in that area, I'm a Dallas fan.
I was going to say, yeah.
I even got a story about that.
Let's keep that for a different show. Yeah. No. When we come back, that's a perfect time for a time.
No, we clean. It's clean.
But that's. I was about to go somewhere else with that. So timeout on my part now. We're throwing the timeout meter to me. And when we come back, we're going to revert to just say, we love you, Dallas Cowboy cheaters. And we're done.
If you're hitting 200 at the plate for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, life isn't that great. But if you're hitting up 200 before the Wahoos games, things can't get much better. 200 South is your Blue Wahoos pre-party destination. Grab an ice-cold draft with the best selection in town at World of Beer. Relax in the most hoppin' spot at Blend Lounge. Or grab a quick bite to eat at Graffiti Pizza or Taco Aguave before the game. 200 South Palafox in downtown Pensacola. Peanuts and Cracker Jacks are all right, but a slice and an ice-cold draft? Now that's a home run.
Remember those summer adventures as a kid? On 2 wheels. Cutting loose with your buddies, enjoying freedom on those endless summer nights. Make new memories this summer at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Don't forget that right now, it's Harley-Davidson of Pensacola's Buy Back event. If you purchased a bike from them in the past year, they'll give you back what you paid towards your new Harley. Discover your inner child again with the freedom that owning a Harley brings. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date for an FSU game.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tee time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys' weekend, let her relax at Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. Visit swmedspa.com. Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa, voted Best Day Spa 8 years in a row.
ESPN Pensacola 945 is accepting applications for employment. Periodically, we have openings in sales, business, news, promotions, engineering, production, and programming. We'll keep your application for consideration when such an opening occurs. We also provide internships to qualified students. Apply online at ESPNpensacola.com or at our studios at 7251 Plantation Road behind University Town Plaza on Davis Highway between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. ADX Communications is an equal opportunity employer.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
And welcome back, Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Chad Brilliante alongside Jordan Glass and John Steele from the Retirement Planners joins us. You can give him a call at 850-995-1999. I love that. There it is right there. Going once, going twice, going. Looking at what you said earlier, the one stat that I always tell people will never get beat outside of Wilt Chamberlain's off the court stat, is Cal Ripken. Cal Ripken played in over 2,900 games consecutively.
Yeah.
Today, Robinson Cano, who got hurt not too long back, and now has been on the DL a lot. He's back on the DL. But if you look at athletes in today's game, if you go a season playing every single baseball game, which will, it hasn't happened. There's not one guy right now that has 162 games, I believe, consecutive. That's a Major League Baseball season. You're talking about somebody that did over 2,900 games consecutively. It'll never happen again. And you know Cal Ripken played through pain. He played in the early 80s. There might have been a couple days where he played through a couple Advils. You know what I mean?
Would you call that an older generation work ethic?
Well,
that's how it started out.
It also means Baltimore had some real crappy people around him that never got him rest, too. Because
he
had to play every night. But at the same time, yeah, that's an incredible stat. And it's one, as it grew, too, that stat kept going. Meaning there was a lot of times. I remember he had a cast on his hand one time. They were up like 9-1 in a game, and he played just because they were like, okay, Cal, you got to get in this game. You know, we're going to keep this stat going because you've played for 18 straight seasons consecutively.
And now you have professional athletes sit out with a hangnail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or baseball. The worst one of all, to me, are the closers in baseball that are on a day rest. That are on it. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
You know exactly what I mean. 3-2 game. And I've watched teams. Washington National fans, if you're a Nats fan out there, nation's capital. Fernando Rodney. Sideways hat, always looks high on the mound. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Always looks the same every single time. He might not be, but that's what he looks like. I'm just saying. And when Fernando Rodney got out there, he was not the closer. He has a 70 ERA for a reason. There's a reason he's been released from about 8 teams being the closer, because he always blows games. Well, the announcer goes, well, Sean Doolittle, who is their Mr. Doolittle right there. Yeah, that's his name. He's really good. Sean Doolittle is going to take tonight off because he's pitched 2 consecutive games to get the close. And I'm like, okay, so he's pitched 2 consecutive 1-inning games, so he can't pitch another 1 inning on a third day when these old pitchers went complete game after complete game, sometimes in a doubleheader.
I can tell you exactly what that means for a closer in Major League Baseball. It means tee time was the same time as first pitch. That's exactly what that means.
No, it's a bunch of GMs, and it is, and that's hilarious. You're exactly right, though. It is. It's so sad, though, John, because the culture is you have some young guy who's part of management, who's afraid and doing some analytical stats that if he pitches another game, his pitch count will get too high, and he'll start getting arm injuries, and that we're going to lose our $30 million investment. So somebody's made a rash decision there instead of the old suck it up because you are a closer and you pitch 1 inning a night for 10 minutes, and we need a win. And we look at it now. Washington at the time wasn't as big of a deal. Washington's a few games out of the wild card right now. That game, the difference between a win and loss in 162 games might not be everything, but when you put a guy out there that looks like Bozo the Clown compared to your real closer, it could be everything. But that is the epitome of where we are today in Major League Baseball. Yeah. You got closers where your only job, and you show up 40 times a year. 40 times a year is all you have to do for 1 inning. And all you have to do is go out there and, in a close game, get the job done. And they rely on you. Get paid a lot of money for it. Mariano Rivera at the end of his career was making $500,000 a close based on that he had closed out how many games he did and how much money he made. $500,000 every time he went on the mound. And you look at a guy that you're not going to put out there, that big of an investment. Doolittle probably makes $150,000 every time he's out on the mound, but you're not going to put that out there on the mound to win a big game. Because he's going to get paid that money whether you put him out in the field or not.
That's correct.
His career, he's already getting that cash. So you're just saying on that day, let's just ease in and take that $150,000 loss and put a guy that's going to lose the game for us because we don't want to jeopardize the career based on some guy that is dealing with cracking the numbers instead of allowing this guy to pitch. If he came to you and said, Coach, my arm's sore, I'm not going to do it. But you know those guys, they love it. Those closers love going out there. He didn't make that call. But
you got to understand, in sports today, owners, managers, and coaches look at their players the same way, horse breeders in Kentucky do with thoroughbreds. I mean, they treat them exactly the same way.
And when they're done with them, go out in the backyard?
Yeah, go out in the backyard and shoot them. Or if they win a couple of races, they get to go out to stud. You know what I mean? So run faster. But anyway, but that's the same thing. So there's no difference I see in how these people are treated because they're an asset and not a person. The Cal Ripken thing, to go back to it for a minute. Now, I watched Cal Ripken. I followed him for a lot of years. In the beginning, it was work ethic. But when it came to the point that the numbers started getting to a point that, whoa, this guy's really doing something. Well, it shifted from work ethic to a challenge. Can I do this? How far can I go? Okay? And he never gave up. Never quit. Okay? And that's the key to success with everybody. Don't quit. Don't give up. Learn a few things and keep going. But it just bothers me, and when you bring this up, that these people who are athletes and we pay to be entertained by their abilities, are not allowed to perform on the stage we paid for because someone's treating them like a thoroughbred horse. We don't want to run them hard today because they got a race on Saturday. You follow what I'm saying?
I completely follow.
Yeah.
So you have a list of the all-time
moneymakers.
Top 10 moneymakers.
Well, I got top 10 for all time. I got the top 10 for 2019, and it ain't the same names.
Well, you would tell me. I'd hope not. Eh?
You know who the all-time moneymaker was in sports over all time?
I mean, it counts not just contracts, right? Everything he made.
Everything he made.
Okay.
This is total earnings.
Last time we did this, I was pretty good.
Okay, so I'm not going to give you a hint this time, but he's tall.
Michael Jordan.
And he hung, Michael Jordan. He hung around Chicago. The number 2 moneymaker of all time. This is, everything.
Is it a team sport or individual sport?
Individual sport. He was
Tiger
married.
Woods.
Yeah, he was married to a blonde, and then he messed up his life.
Is that family money or because I think a divorce court?
Now she got a healthy chunk of this. Okay, all right. Now, same sport. Number 3 moneymaker of all time.
Same sport. Really?
Because in this list, 4 out of the top 6 moneymakers of all time are in the same sport.
Arnold Palmer?
Exactly.
Oh, the drink, yes.
The next one.
Jordan just gave me he gave me a Pictionary clue there. That was very but I just thought he was being kind and like cheers like but he Arnold Palmer. I put it. Yeah.
And I'll give you a hint on the 4th one. Saint.
You might be throwing me off here. Wait a second. Individual sport. These laughs.
Okay. Saint is my hint.
Hold on. What sport? Golf?
Golf.
Here, do you want another hint?
St. Nicholas. Okay, Jack Nicholas. Okay,
you got it. Okay.
Too many laughs over there.
Now, the number 5 moneymaker of all time in any sport was in auto racing in Germany.
Michael Schumacher?
Bingo. Number 6, another golfer. And he's now making commercials with his daughter on TV.
Phil Mickelson.
There you go. See?
It's not his kid, though. He's actually getting 20 to 30. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, but anyway. And then, number 7, moneymaker of all time. He plays with one of them round balls about that big.
Oh, you just narrowed it down. Thanks.
Yeah,
I did. Basketball? Is that where you were going
Basketball,
with that? Okay, all right. You play with a ball. Okay, you were right. I mean, you were with the.
It had no points. The ball had no points on the end. Yeah.
Don't put the list. There's no point. Not looking at answer keys. So look away.
He was talked about this morning. On
LeBron
Thursday.
James.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Close.
Magic Johnson.
No.
Max Kellerman says he would be on the NBA's worst 2010 decade team, all-team. The all-worst team, not the all-best team. We were talking about it before the show.
Wow.
Wore 2 different numbers. Played for the same team.
Kobe?
There you go.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not Kobe.
Kobe has more money than Magic Johnson, even after Eagle?
Yeah.
Eagle, Colorado?
Yeah, with all the endorsements and everything.
They stayed together. So.
I was going to say, yeah.
Kobe Bryant has earned over $800 million.
Jeez.
Okay, number 7 made the same amount, $800 million, and he plays, with a little white round ball, and he's from England. That help you?
He's straight, right?
Yeah. Well,
okay, sorry. Okay,
some people may argue it.
No, I'm just saying what he played with the white round ball. Okay, David Beckham. Is it
perfect? You got it.
I can see genuine laughs over here. That's a genuine laugh.
Yeah, how come I get you guys laughing too much? Okay.
No.
All right, now number 9, all-time money earner, earned $785 million so far. Okay.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
He's kind of he likes to fight.
I'm gonna go with Money Mayweather.
You got it. And then this other guy's tall, and he makes a lot of commercials now, and he has earned so far $735 million.
He was teammates with number 7.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Bingo. You got it.
Did you see him raving out in like Belgium at that concert?
At a rock concert.
He's gonna say when you're 7'1", 400 pounds too. Yeah, I mean,
I'm just trying to let in.
He's just showing the moves off. He wants to get back in the NBA. He's been tripping on wires on TNT with Barkley, so got to show it off out there. He was head bobbing.
That was kind of. I got the 2019 money earners.
Now most of Shaq's contract that put him over the mark was when he became a police officer. Correct?
Yeah, that's where he made the most money.
I mean, I'm just saying.
He got sworn in.
Look.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but that badge looked awful small on him.
Police officers and teachers, maybe, I'm not getting into education or policy or anything, but they both deserve more money. That's all I'm going to say. Any jobs like that. We get to talk sports. I know we got to create. I have to have sponsors, but there are a lot of jobs. And I know sometimes it's based on school before that and things like that, but anybody that serves and protects us, in my opinion, deserves more money. That's all.
The top 3 money earners for 2019 were all soccer players. The top 3. Yeah. Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Neymar.
Wow. Yeah.
They were the top 3 money earners. And then the next one is professional boxing. And then number 5 was a tennis player. Roger that.
Yeah.
Federer, he continues to see, but Federer is making so much money actually still playing, which is cool. I would love to see the value, and they have this stat, and we can find this. We'll look it up during the break. Get our crack staff on it. But there's nobody over there.
Hey, Wally.
Yeah. Chipmunks. I would love to see the correlation between athletes and how much money they made and athletes of how much money they made off the court or off the field compared to the overall status. Well, it's right in front of me. Congratulations. But that doesn't show.
It shows endorsements.
But here's so here's the deal. So the winner on this list to me is Canelo Alvarez this year. Because Canelo Alvarez made $92 million in salary and $2 million endorsements. However, that could be misleading because that's pay-per-view. That counts. That's all of the pay-per-view money is collected into the fight. So that might not be fair. And that makes sense too because there's not too many Canelo Alvarez commercials in the States where you're going to see somebody like Aaron Rodgers or LeBron James. LeBron James is the only person on this list. Actually, all basketball players made more money in endorsements than they did in salary. That is insane.
What number was LeBron James in 2019? What's his rank?
Number 8.
Well, 2018 he was number 6. $33.5 million salary and $52 million in endorsements.
Where are these Steph Curry? That must be with Under Armour. Steph Curry, $42 million in endorsements.
Yeah, that's what he. 2018, he must have kept the same contract because Steph Curry got paid $34.9 and $42 million in endorsements.
He could be the spokesperson for Aisha's Pots and Pans too.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, could be.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought I'd bring some of this stuff up. I don't know how far I can go back. Doesn't matter.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We got to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to get into a little more. We're going to talk some college football into the numbers as well and look at the top earnings as John Steele, the retirement planners, joins us, breaking down a little financials in sports as he does each and every Tuesday. If you want true financials, when we're playing with these type of numbers with guys like LeBron, $52 million endorsements, probably not happening for you. I'd take $52 to do a puppet show. Don't take me on that. That sounds creepy. But retirement planners, call 995.
$19.99. You see?
Now there's more fun for everyone at IP. The beautiful Bayview Cafe is here, open 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can dine anytime and meet up with friends for wine tasting at 850 Wine and Spirits. Plus, if you love sports, IP Sportsbook is where the action is, and now taking wagers. Better up.
IP Casino Resort and Spa. It's fun for everyone.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh! Dilly Dilly! Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more, like give you 24/7 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick. Miss Lydia!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Pensacola is loaded with famous athletes, and when it comes to seeing a chiropractor for their sports injuries, there is one team they trust, Doctors Edwin Roberts. A family tradition for 3 generations, Doctors Edwin Roberts Chiropractic, next to Legendary Fitness on Mobile Highway, has helped champion athletes like Emmett Smith and Trent Richardson. Doctors Roberts specialize in relieving auto accident pain to physicals for the student athlete. The best treatment for sports injuries is prevention. Call 912-4155 for a free consultation and change your life forever.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Sergeant R.J. Anderson changed course from college student to Army soldier. Then tragedy struck.
My world turned upside down, being told I would never walk again. Now I'm excited about my life, thanks to Paralyzed Veterans of America. With their support and adaptive sports programs, my fire is lit again. For veterans with spinal cord injury or disease, PVA is our partner for life, assisting as our needs and challenges change. Thanks to PVA, my life is back on course.
To learn more, visit pva.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
And welcome back, Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Well, the winner of the dope Homer Simpson Award this week goes to Georgia Southern quarterback Shea Wertz. What was Shea Wertz? Not too much when he said there was bird poop on his car after he was pulled over.
Yeah.
For drug paraphernalia, and threw a bunch of cocaine on his dashboard. But he told the cops it was just bird poop until they took a swab and said, "Nope,
that's
cocaine."
That's like I read an article on Drudge Report a couple of days ago, and some lady was arrested, and they found 2 packets of cocaine in a body cavity, and she didn't know how it got there. Ain't mine. I don't know how I got there. Now, if somebody stuffed 2 plastic bags of something in your body cavity.
Oh my gosh!
You know what I'm wondering is when I hear stories like that.
It again.
Yeah. Well, it's like that one down in South Florida when the lady got in trouble because she worked at Subway and she was a drug dealer, and her code was double meat. You came in and got double meat, and she would put a couple of the things in the bag and send you on your way. Well, some person was just trying to get double meat on their sub and found this and said, "What the heck?" and reported this lady or this Subway, and they found out, and they coded, and they sent an undercover person, and they figured that out. And but I'm like, how poor was business where this lady had to use that code? Because I get double meat on my sub a lot, so I would have like my first day there would have figured this out. What kind of business were they running? That's what I'm wondering. Like, you could have used anything like, that new sub. You could have used something like, hey, didn't you used to have the Cuban with ham or something like that's never been on our menu.
See, the key is you're thinking their primary business was subs.
Yeah, that's
obviously
true.
It wasn't.
Eat fresh, How fresh was it?
Yeah, there you go.
But, How fresh is it tonight?
It was just crushed.
Very fresh. very, very fresh. John, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things going on with college football, and we're getting set to go for the season. Do you feel with college football? Do you think?
He's gonna get you.
I'm going to train you.
Do you feel when you think about these college teams, is it worth teams with a passion? We spend more money as a society, things that make us feel good, ask Bob Kraft, but things that make us feel good that are going to leave a lasting impression. That's why you can pay $24. I know you're a financial guy, so you're looking at me like this is nonsense. But if you go to Disney, you might spend $24 for one of those magical pictures on a water slide you can get a disposable Kodak for $1. And what I mean is because it's a lasting memory of you being on Splash Mountain. And people pay it. A lot of foreign people pay it, but they pay it.
See, in my line of work, that's called evidence. No.
But we understand you're going to buy things because it's more, you know what I mean, though. We're going to buy more stuff because it's a lasting memory of things over what is. Football is a lasting memory. It's not worth spending $35 to park on Billy Bob's house that he has a sign out there, sometimes $50 for parking.
Mm-hmm.
Then going in his stadium, spending another $600-700. Then going and buying tickets, sometimes now going for over $1,000 a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Financially, it's never feasible to spend a couple $1,000s on a trip that you could watch with a better view, with friends at your house,
and
air conditioned, with replays, get stuff around the house done that day, and also be there for your family. With all that stuff, the reason we do it is because we love the passion, the camaraderie, and it's that, hey, man, what incredible 7 or 8 of the games that I can remember being at in college football were some of the most lasting memories before I got married and had kids and had a good, those kind of memories. Those are the kind of things where you look at, and it's about the memory. You're going to pay a little more for that. Do you think it's worth it in college football today to have those memories? And if somebody asks you that question as a financial advisor, I want to take some money out to do this. It's their money, but would you say, hey, I'm going to advise against it, or you say, do what you want to do with it?
I'm going to ask him, what first I'm going to do a financial plan for you and check out your net worth.
How much he's going to send on
If I come down and your net worth statement says you're worth $12 million, who cares?
Yeah,
go. But if you come into me and you say, okay, between me and my wife make $47,000 a year, and we're thinking about spending $2,500 to go to a college football game, I'm going to give them an extra Dave Ramsey book, okay, because they're going to need it. Now, so it's all in perspective on that type of stuff. So is it worth it? It depends upon, can you really afford it? And is it important to you? Now, to me, it would be important to be able to do that at least one time, so at the end of the game, I could go pet the police dogs.
That is why. There you go. So you could always say that.
Yeah, but
I give you a reason to go pet police dogs if you want, but you don't want to.
No,
this is not
good.
Just
Go to the Subway you were talking about.
That's
earlier.
right. Ask for extra meat. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's back to perspective. It's like. I've got a client right now, sweetheart of a lady. She's got a couple $1 million. Husband died about a year ago. And she's just coming out.
What's her number for some of the people out there listening? You said you hit about 4 or 5 of the check marks for some of the single guys out there. Like, wait a second.
Sweetheart, single, and rich.
Wait a second.
But in any event, she's sitting there with all this money, and she's just like really depressed. And the reason being, her and her husband were so frugal all their life, and they saved this money and accumulated this money, and she's sitting there going, I said, good, go on a cruise. Well, that costs money. Well, I said, look, your husband passed away last year. We're very sorry about that. We miss him. I knew him a long time. She goes, yeah. You're going to pass away. How much are they going to take with you? So the only thing that people don't understand, if you're really frugal and you're really good and you accumulate more money than you really need to last the rest of your life, is there anything wrong with enjoying some of it? And I have to push people to do that. Now I get people come in who ain't got a dime. They're $200,000 in debt, not counting their mortgage. Okay, and those are the ones that are taking a cruise every week and they can't afford it. But for the people who have been responsible and frugal and didn't do any of this stuff all their lives, and they've got this money accumulated, I said, look, here's what's going to happen. And I told this lady this. I said, here's what's going to happen. You're going to pass away. There's still going to be about $3 million there. I'm going to go visit your kids, and I'm going to count how many new ATVs, boats, and everything else they got that you sacrificed for. I said, maybe you ought to go buy an ATV.
Now you hit this fifth box in this area.
Yeah.
On that note, we got to go ahead and take a quick break. We're coming back for more with John Steele, the Retirement Planners.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Getting knocked down on the football field makes you tough, but getting back up makes you tougher. At Goodyear, we call that determination. A willingness to put in more hours, more reps, and more heart to reach a bar that's sky high. Because the Goodyear blimp doesn't show up for just anybody. So don't be just anybody. Be blimp-worthy. Goodyear, more driven.
Sports is live and local every Saturday from 11 to 1.
You hear Nick Saban say, well, we need to get back to the Alabama standard. You went 13-1, 14-1 last year. You lost in the national title game to a guy who's probably going to be the next it quarterback inside the NFL.
Sports Call with Jordan Glass and Davis Allen on your radio, on Facebook, and YouTube.
Year one with Dan Mullen, we saw a lot of growth out of him because they also expanded him.
At ESPN Pensacola 945.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golick and Wingo. Oh, yeah! To the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Chad Brillante alongside Jordan Glass. And joining us each and every Tuesday, John Steele from the Retirement Planners joining us here in studio. Your sign's a little bit bigger than it was last week.
Yeah, I couldn't read the business card myself.
I could not.
So I went and had that one made
that
up.
climbed over there, though.
Huh?
There was an ant that climbed on that window.
I don't care.
I think he gave you a call.
I don't care. He might have, But see, as you go off into the sunset, you best plan your retirement.
I like that.
Yeah.
Did you have a hard time picking out that bird, what bird it was going to be?
No, actually, and I'll give her credit, I had a young lady by the name of Madison. She designed that for me, who worked for me in the office. And she came up with that creation, and I really, really liked it. So, Madison, thank you. I know you're not listening to sports, but that's okay. But,
and to be symbolic, we all find symbols. Sometimes, like, you see a guy get hit by a car, and some lady's like, "Well, the real man, get this guy, call 911." Like, stop being symbolic. Like, it meant to be, and they'd be like, "Get out of here!" Like, the guy just got crushed by a car. But retirement planners, to be symbolic with this, is what it means is when we get off work at the end of our day and we look to the sunset, this is when we start thinking of our family, our future. Our kids.
Yes.
That's when you start sitting back and just thinking. We're hustle and bustle, checking texts, checking this, doing that, 100 different things, playing keyboard cat, and then at the end of the day, you get to sit there.
Now, let me tell you the difference between those people that are successful and not. The ones at the end of the day who think and then plan. The rest of them just think. And they never get anywhere.
I get off work, I think, and then I plan what channel I'm going to watch the game.
Oh.
Think of the game, then plan which one I'm going to watch. Is that what you're going with that?
I'm not much of a spectator.
That's right.
I mean, and I told you that early on in my illustrious career here.
Mike Price that advice
at the Sports Drive. But I played all kinds of sports for years, especially in the military. In fact, my favorite football game I ever played was when I was in Subic Bay in the Philippines, and I played on the Naval Supply Depot team, and we were to play that day. Now, I understand we were a bunch of dispersing clerks, supply clerks, and we had to play that day in a field that had 6 inches of water on it against Underwater Demolition Team 11. Those were the precursors of the SEALs. We lost. And we hurt. They showed up on the field, okay? Now, everybody else has got, we got a little sweatshirt and a kind of uniform, trying to look like a football player. They showed up in full camis and combat boots on the football field. And they would just give this one guy the ball, and all the rest of them would kill us, and we never got to score. I mean, I think we lost like 50-0. And it wasn't a very long game. We finally just almost drowned in the mud. But so I've been a participant all my life, but I've just never been. I was a real avid spectator all through, I'm going to say, the 60s, 70s, and 80s. big on the NFL. I mean, I used to be almost like you guys, man. I could even tell who was who. And but I'm still more of a participant than I'm a spectator.
As a fan of sports, and from a because these games make a lot financially.
Yes,
these games are more feasible with neutral site games in college football. We only have a couple minutes, so I don't want to get too into details. But neutral site or home and home series, where the money goes towards the college and the revenue, compared to the big conglomerate TV deal at that major city. What are you for in college football?
I'm more for the money going to the school. I mean, to me, the money and everything should go to the school.
The teams get money for those games on those neutral site too, but it isn't for the fans. To me, it's the true fans would rather stay in their home than have to travel to the few people get to do that.
Yeah, but why do people follow Florida State? Why do people follow the Gators? Why do people follow the Tide?
Lately, I think some people might be asking that question a couple times. John, really enjoyed the show. Thank you again.
850-995-1999.
For the bird over the sunset. Jordan, have a great rest of your day.
You too, man.
For all of us here, I'm Chad Brilliante. God bless.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if